Welcome back to the channel, and we finally have some beautiful weather. It's been about a week of rain on and off, cold, damp, windy. We're finally able to get some work done on the 64. So we get some paint drying over there in the engine compartment. So we're going to jump onto this hood. You can remember back when I took this off the car, one side come off good, this side's completely rotted out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cutting wheel there on the grinder, and I'm going to try to take this off level the whole way around this hinge mount down to about, oh, you can see even here the metal's gone. The feel starts getting thick again. So I'm going to take it off across here all the way up. We're going to have to build a new rib to fit along there. So this is where I'm at. I got this side cut out, so we're all down to good metal. And on this side, I've buffed this down. I've pinched this together with a C-clamp, and I've worked on it with a bit of a peening hammer to get even. This side I got lifted up nicely. There's a drop right here. This side I can't seem to get in there without bending the other side down, so once I weld, I'm gonna have to weld a nipple on here just so I can pull it up a little bit. Another thing I've done is I've measured this hood 6 ways from Sunday, from tip to where you can see this line. I've measured from the holes to the line, the bolt holes to the line, to triangulate the perfect shape here, so I got a nice even triangle. I then took my level here and started at this end of the hood as well too, measured back to check the distance between this hole and the little hole right here, and these are identical on both sides. So then I could transfer my measurement, which is this corner to where you see that line, that corner over here, run that line up right to here. So now I know I have the exact equidistant measurement to the back of this hood. So with those measurements, what I'm going to do, using cardboard, maybe start with paper, then cardboard, going from the line, kind of outline the shape of this upper, or this flat part here. It's kind of skinny, then opens up again wide. I'm going to cut that to measure that perfectly. Then I'll take it and I'll lay it right over top here, so I can get it aligned where it's going to go, and that'll be my template to cut out a piece of tin for the face of it. Then I can tack weld on this side, get my calipers. I'll be able to see the thickness of the hood here at the end, match it to this thickness, put a stint in here as a tack, then also the distance here and here, because this piece does have a dip in it. It does have a transition. The part that I cut out is transition. It's not a dent, which it appears to be over there. So I'll be able to pinch it at this point, pinch at this point to get that level dip that kind of evens out with the other side. Then when that's all done, then I'll make my templates to make my 2 side pieces, and then I'll weld that all in. So this worked out better than expected. Just using a crayon here, I peeled all the paper off. I was able to lay that flat and go back and forth up that rail, and it made the perfect outline of the top of that stiffener that goes on the hood. And I even see where my holes are. That'll give me a good reference point. The holes are going to be bigger, of course, than what they need to be, because you weld a nut to the back of them. That is an awesome place to start. So now I'll be able to take this off, cut this out, a pair of scissors, and then I'll put it on something stiffer like a piece of cardboard, just to, tweak it out a little bit, and then I can just make a perfect mirror image on the other side, cut that into some sheet steel, and start tacking that in. And there's top rail, perfectly aligned. Now this edge is just a little bit proud here, because when I bring these together, I'm going to make it so that this corner is the hollow corner that I'm going to fill. So I'll fill both sides of weld so that I can feather it and grind over smooth to try to replicate this rounded edge. So this just goes over here, turns over, and is going to butt in right around there. And you can see how much the taper is on each side that I got to build up. So I went ahead, drilled a couple holes here to line up with those bolt holes, and I put a couple nuts and bolts in. So this is the bottom going down. So I will weld these nuts to the plate here so that once I build this up and tack this in, the nuts will be welded on the back side and I never have to worry about them coming off, and I can sink my bolts in to hold my hinge on. So this is as far as I've got. It's not looking too bad so far, but I have ran out of welding gas for the MIG welder, so I cannot continue. Just got this hole left to fill in. I have the remaining spots that I didn't weld yet gouged out, so I can fill that in. Then I'll be using a blending disc to round over these edges really nice. And then hopefully, with all my measurements, this side is the exact same as this side, and all the bolt holes will line up. So this is coming along quite well. Frame is painted up black nicely. Got all the red done. I do want to paint power steering, gearbox, and pump kind of a flat, dark aluminum color. And then once this is fully dried and I can crawl back in here again, I'll be able to get under some of the edges here that I couldn't get with the can. You can see underneath a couple of the nuts and bolts aren't sprayed, but I did what I could, and the rest I'll touch up with a brush. But for the suspension parts, like the upper control arm and stuff like that, all this will be coming off at some point anyway down the road. It'll all be going out. Wheel come off, everything go it that way to replace the bushings and whatnot. But I just want to get this done so I can get the hood finished and on, and that'll close that up for the winter, and then I'll have a nice little home for the engine once it gets finished. So that's the end of this video for this weekend. Hope you guys enjoyed as usual. Thumbs up, greatly appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys again next week.